Alright, so our project is on virtual experiences at theme parks. So, the introduction to virtual experiences at Disney World. So, because of the pandemic, Disney had to come up with better ways for um, people to view the park and visit it while being inside. So, they created this virtual ride option, which allowed for people to take tours throughout the park and view the rides as though they were actually there, but they were virtually. And it is designed a lot like a VR game or a VR experience, but the design is also kind of like Google Maps, where it looks more realistic and you can move around and things like that. So some of the ride that that were viewed and could be experienced virtually were the Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid, the Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios, the Expedition Everest ride in the Legends of the Forbidden Mountain in Animal Kingdom, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin in Magic Kingdom, and the Dinosaur ride in Animal Kingdom.
All right, so what is a virtual experience? A virtual experience is a rendered experience to create a computer simulated environment where you can feel immersed in that simulation. It enables users to perform operations in virtual spaces and show effects in real time. Really, it's all about deceiving the senses. The point of theme parks using virtual reality technology is to enhance the theme park experience, to take it out of what is feasible in the real world and make it unrealistic. What does this allow theme parks to do? Well, the current advancements in virtual reality technology include the use of computer imaging, sound, and sensory systems in order to make participants in a direct VR feedback loop with the visuals and technology itself and the world it simulates. Rather than only view and hear like rides before virtual reality technology, such as 4D cinemas and theaters, like the 4D Shrek and Minion experiences at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, or 4D experiences that have users fend off enemies like the Toy Story Cinema from Disney and the Men in Black 4D experience at Universal. VR allows users to feel involved in the unreal world on all sensory levels. And oddly enough, many are made with the Unreal Engine, a game-making software. And being that the VR devices block the eyes and ears, the user loses their sight and some of their hearing, allowing theme parks to take away from the real world and instead place passengers in whatever world the theme park wishes. This is known as psychological immersion, the sense of submergence in a space that is no one's immediate physical environment.
Virtual rides. Virtual rides are a new trend taking the theme park industry by storm, due to the increased accessibility for many of the patrons. Many theme parks are introducing virtual rides into current rides or adding virtual rides into their park. Some examples include the Great Lego Race at Legoland Discovery Center, Atlanta, Star Wars Secret of the Empire in Disney Springs, Orlando, DC Superheroes Drop of Doom VR and Six Flags Magic Mountain, the Big Apple Coaster at New York Hotel and Casino, Battle for the Ire in Ireland Village, Jurassic World VR Expedition at Universal City, California. Some more examples include Daemon at Trevally Gardens in Denmark, Galactica at Alton Towers in Alton, United Kingdom, Ghost Train at Thorpe Park in United Kingdom, Final Fantasy XR at Universal Studios Japan, Iron Dragon at Cedar Point Theme Park in Ohio, The New Revolution at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and many more. Virtual rides allow one a new way to enjoy theme park experiences that take you on new adventures to different worlds, all without leaving your seat.
Experts say that virtual reality experiences can give new life to theme parks and some of their fading attractions. Virtual reality gives access to construction that isn't very feasible and also not cheap in the real world, let's be honest. But for the usual rides, parkgoers can have crazy experiences just by playing with their minds a little bit with virtual reality. But it will also allow them to showcase supernatural characters in ways actors could not before. It's a new life for theme parks. So, what can one expect to see on these virtual experiences? Well, one of the rides I would like to talk about is the Great Lego Race. Here, you are placed in your everyday roller coaster and given a VR headset. The scenes in Lego's world sync up with the roller coaster, so you feel every scene from driving across a cliff, avoiding obstacles, and the ongoing battles between the other racers in the virtual world. Another example is Star Wars Secrets of the Empire. In the real world, you are only in a concrete hallway that has buttons and levers corresponding to the 15-minute story occurring within the visor. Players said that they could feel the heat from the lava and the wind, which likely means that the concrete hallways were also equipped with other machines to immerse riders in the experience even further. It even has stormtroopers to fight your way through as you attempt to capture the artifact that could end the war. Finally, DC Superheroes Drop of Doom. For this ride, you are placed on your typical drop tower and given a visor. As the rider's seat rise, so do their pods in the virtual world. Inside the visor, Lex Luthor plans to drop innocent civilians from the sky, but Superman and Wonder Woman come to save the day. Eventually, the machine drops, and the virtual experience makes a simple drop tower feel like riders are about to hit the city streets.
Okay, so these virtual experiences are the Big Apple Coaster at the New York Hotel and Casino. Designed by VR Coasters, the ride is 4,777 feet long, which is the longest coaster equipped with VR in the world right now. It reaches a top speed of 67 miles per hour and has a lot of loops and twists and even a corkscrew. One ticket ride costs $20 for the VR version, but you also can ride the ride just as a roller coaster with no VR for $15. And you must be at least 13 years old to ride the ride because of how intense it is, especially with the VR. The Jurassic World VR expedition at Universal City, California, was designed by many Academy Award winners for VR and also Emmy winners for virtual reality. The main producers of it are the Virtual Reality Company, also known as the VRC. Universal is very proud of this experience. They even have an entire line of merchandise dedicated to the experience that includes jewelries, homeware, clothing, pretty much anything you can imagine, specifically for this ride. They have it at a few Dave and Buster's brands right now. They're planning to bring it to more, and they're hoping to expand it because some people are calling this game changing and legendary. So it's really exciting for their company.
Disney Quest opens 1998. Established in 1998 as a virtual reality cafe located in downtown Disney, now Disney Springs. Disney Quest was invented as a way for Imagineers to test virtual reality theme parks. They fully intended on having a mass-produced chain of different stores. Upon first release, Disney did no advertising. It cost extra to get in, and the front of the building was arguably the most boring building in downtown Disney. Despite all of this, it was still a smash hit, at least at first. It's terrible. Disney Quest. Unlike the boring outside, the inside layout was comprised of 5 floors with 4 different themed zones. Guests would start their journey in the Venture Port, where they would stand next to pillars of gold statues of their favorite Disney characters. They would arrive to the third port, called the Venture Port, with the Cyrolator. This elevator had a fun intro video featuring Genie from Aladdin. It really helped immerse the guests into an experience of their own. Each zone would extend vertically through multiple floors, making it an experience that was more interactive than just encompassing one floor. You had the Replay Zone, which featured arcade games like Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters. The Create Zone, which housed the Animation Academy, where you could sketch your favorite characters. including Cyberspace Mountain and Radio Disney Songmaker. The Score Zone, where you could ride the comics and the extraterrestrial alien encounter. And then finally, the Explore Zone, where you could ride like Aladdin's Magic Carpet Ride or Hercules in the Underground. And a really terrible, not really VR experience called Virtual Jungle Cruise, where the whole time all you have to do is just paddle all the way over and down the river. The Replay Zone. I'm only going to mention this quickly because it's not really VR. This is Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters, and you would shoot lasers, and it was bumper cars mixed with dodgeball. Then you had the Create Zone, where you would go in and do the Animation Academy, but more interestingly is the Cyberspace Mountain. With the Cyberspace Mountain, you could create and ride your own roller coaster rides, and this was later on incorporated into Epcot's Sum of All Thrills in 2009. You also had the Radio Disney Songmaker, where you could combine songs and create them and then print them off for yourself. Then you have the Score Zone, where you could ride the comics. This is a VR superhero game where you would battle with a controller that would act as a sword. This was early on in the VR headsets, and you can see how they're actually mounted to the wall and super large and clunky, and then you had to be strapped into that chair, and even the remote was very clunky at the time too. You can see how far we've come, but at the time this was cutting edge. Then you had extraterrestrial alien encounter, which was more of an immersive experience than VR itself. But it's interesting to see how Disney has culminated these experiences, eventually leading to full-on virtual reality. Then you had Aladdin's Magic Carpet Ride, where you would sit on an actual like bike and have your VR set on, and you could feel the movements and everything. So it was very immersive. Hercules and the Underground was a replacement for that when Hercules was popular. And then they introduced a terrible, not really VR experience called Virtual Jungle Cruise, where literally the only point of it was to just paddle down the river the whole time. The only other game of note was a Fix-It Felix arcade game to honor Wreck-It Ralph coming out. Then they had a Toy Story Mania game. And then they had a Pirates of the Caribbean Battle for Buccaneer Gold, but it came out before the movie did. So it was based on the ride. So it definitely didn't have as much success. A lot of this led to budget cuts because the cost of having all of this technology, the repairs for it, and then trying to introduce new games and new technologies was just too much for Disney at the time, and they decided to work on different areas. So once the budgeting got cut, slowly you would see games that would start to malfunction and they wouldn't get repaired, and then ultimately they would be closed. And with nothing getting added on, it just kind of became like really sad. So they ended up in closing on July 2nd in 2017. I will say that the last day they did have like a lot of nostalgia pieces out that like honored the history. And this was mostly due to the cost of maintaining the equipment, let alone the cost of constantly trying to have the most cutting edge of technology. Originally, they had planned on opening over 30 locations. Disney Quest never had more than one in Disney World and one location in Chicago that literally closed, I think, 3 years after it opened and did not have much success at all.